Hello everyone. It's Saturday, August 17th. I have mowed the lawn, done the weeding. I'm sure my face is still red from mowing the lawn. That's always a workout out in the sun. Started the laundry. Then I decided I better make my video before I go do the grocery shopping. It's been a crazy, crazy month. August and May are always the most stressful and most exhausting at my job. I'm the administrative secretary at the local public junior high, and school starts Monday. Monday is 7th grade day, and then Tuesday is the first day for everybody, 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. It's been a crazy, crazy month and a crazy week. August is always crazy for me. I go back to work on August 1st. This year it was actually July 31st, and then you have until the first day of school to get everything ready, all the stuff that I'm in charge of. So a lot of behind the scenes organizational stuff that has to be done before school starts. Well, Tuesday, the city had turned the water off, and when they turned it, they were working on something. And when they turned it back on, I guess, I don't know exactly what caused it, but our water main broke underneath our school. So it, in the middle of the night. So when we got there Wednesday morning, I think it was Wednesday morning. I'm trying to remember if it happened Monday night or Tuesday night. A lot of the bottom floor of our school, is a 2-story school, had flooded. So beginning Tuesday or Wednesday, now I can't remember because it's all just a big blur, we have not had any water or bathrooms or air conditioning because we have a chiller system that has a big cooling water tower which takes water to run. And they've dug a big hole in front of the school. They're fixing the water main. They were able to fix it and get the water on last night, late afternoon. So that was doing good. We're doing okay. But of course, Wednesday was new student tour day. If you're a new 7th grader or you've just moved to our area, you can come to the school that day and get a tour. The student council, the Hope Squad, the CCLA kids, those older kids that know the school, will take you on a tour and help you open your locker and all that stuff from 9 to 12 Wednesday. So we were running that with no bathroom and no water. And that's always a crazy day because the parents, I usually have a line at my desk. Parents have lots of questions for me. I'm the person you talk to if you're not sure what bus you ride. I also assign lockers. So if you need a different locker, you need to come talk to me. If your student can't log on to the computer, I'm the person you come and talk to. So it's always a crazy day. That day is always just crazy, crazy day. So, and then at the same time, we're worrying about bringing in some water, putting it in coolers. Do I have drinks in the fridge, in the cafeteria fridge for everybody so we can have a drink of water? And then you need to go to the bathroom. And I only live 2 blocks from the school, so it's easy to run home and go to the bathroom and come back. And we have a seminary building just behind our school in the back parking lot, and they're not on our same water connection, so they had bathrooms and water back there. Just crazy, just craziness. I just don't even know what. It's all a blur. I don't know. This week, Thursday, we were closed all day. The school was closed because our school district, Alpine School District, always every 3 years has a huge celebration at Utah Valley University. They use their basketball arena, and all the employees for the whole district gather there, and we had a big, great, wonderful meeting. It was really nice. The best keynote speaker, oh my goodness, talking about mental health. That was amazing. And then after that, the principal decided for Professional Development Day this year that because school buses come and pick us up at all of the different schools and take us to Utah Valley University, all the different employees. I think there are about 8,000 employees in the Alpine School District. It's a huge district. And then our principal decided that we were going to go straight from there up to a park, up the canyon, up Provo Canyon. We went to South Fork Park and have our professional development meeting for a couple of hours. So we had J Dogs, that's a local fabulous hot dog place, catered the lunch. And we played games and ate and talked and visited. It was fabulous. And then we went back to the school, and then I worked late that night Worked late Wednesday night. Worked late. Friday was faculty meeting, which we would normally have in our building, and I'd be able to run back and forth to my desk. But faculty meeting we arranged to have in another district building that had air conditioning and water and bathrooms. So there's several things that I have to get ready for those faculty meeting and new teacher meetings. And when you're not close to your desk, then you have to make sure you packed absolutely everything you need. Are all the handouts ready? Because you can't run back to your desk. So I had to make sure, and cold drinks, we're taking them all over to the other building. Just added that extra little twist this week to my already busy schedule. But I like my job. I love the people I work with. It was great. The fire department came. I think it took them like 6 trips. They filled up our chiller tower tank so that Thursday night, so Thursday I told you we were out of the building all day. We went to Utah Valley University for the district thing and then went up the canyon to the park. But then we came back because from 4 to 6 was back to school night, where parents and students can come to the school. The teachers are all in their rooms and you can go and meet the teachers and talk to them. And well, our principal went down to talk to the fire department, and they came and filled up our tank so that night, 4 to 6, we would have a little bit of cool air in the building so it wouldn't be so miserable hot. I just thought that was so cool. And then Friday morning, while we were over at the other district building having our faculty meeting, Pleasant Grove High School, so we're the junior high, Pleasant Grove High School heard about our whole water dilemma, and they sent over, we have a local donut shop called Daylight Donuts that is just the best donuts. They open very early in the morning, and then they're open for as long as they have donuts. They usually close about 1 or 2 in the afternoon because that's when they've sold out. But they sent over something like 6 dozen donuts and cold water over to our school Friday morning while we were all gone, so that when we came back, we had donuts and cold water. I just love it when everybody's just happy to help. It's just fabulous. So then, of course, I stayed late Friday night working, and while I'm there, me and several other teachers are still in the building getting their classrooms ready. We had some more flooding as they were trying to get the water turned back on. We had some more flooding, and had a visit from the police while I was there because there was a phone in the building that was dialing 911, and they needed to come and check on that. We never did figure out what was going on there. It happens quite often at our school. We have 1,400 students and about 60 teachers. There's 108 adults in the building. So it's a large building, and we have a phone system where it's an internal phone system, so you have to dial a 9 to get an outside line and a dial tone before you dial your number. So a lot of times students are trying to, because we have a phone in the office you can use. If you don't have a cell phone, most kids have a cell phone, but not all of them. Sometimes they just are trying to figure out how to dial out, and somehow that ends up being 911. They think they do a 9 and then they do a 1 to get a long distance number. So it's not unusual for some phone in our building to be dialing 911 and the police show up and try and figure out what's going on. But every phone in the building, there's a phone in every classroom, a landline, and there's a phone in every office. Every single one of those phones will show the same number. When you call out, if someone has caller ID, like the police do, it all shows the same phone number. So there's no way to tell which phone in the building it is. And if it's a school day, there's people in all of those rooms. So, we can kind of tell what's going on. But at night, there's not people in all those rooms. There were just a few teachers there working in their rooms and a couple of us still doing some office work. So just fun. A fun at school this week. But it's going well. School's going to start Monday. It's going to be great. I'm just exhausted. I'm exhausted. So I figured I better do a video before it got any longer, and that's why you haven't heard from me in August. I'm hoping it will calm down now. It usually does for me after that first. This week will be crazy because I'm going to have a lot of kids who can't log into their computers. I'll have a lot of students who need to switch a locker. They're either not tall enough to see the top dial, so they can't even see the number, so they need a lower locker. I have a lot of 8th and 9th graders who all think they need an upper locker, a top locker. You don't have to share lockers at our school, but we have the half size where you have the top locker and the bottom locker. So, of course, all the older kids want a top locker. And teachers who need things. We have 10 new teachers this year. So, they're trying to figure out their classrooms and where can I find this? And I'm usually their helper. I'm the one that helps them all get settled. So lots of just, you know, first week of school kind of stuff. But then it calms down and we're in our routine and everything's kind of settled. So then my life will calm down and hopefully I'll be making videos more often. That will be good. I have been stitching, but not as much as I do on calmer parts of the year in my life. But I will show you what I've been working on. It's been fun. I'm not too exhausted at night. I'll sit down and stitch. That's always a relaxing thing for me. Now it's going to be hard to remember what I've worked on since my last video and what hasn't. What has changed and what has not changed since last time you saw it. This is my Thursday project, but it hasn't had a lot of love. But I did work on it a little bit. I'm working on it's a big long skinny piece that folds in half and then a ruler fits inside of it. This is Shepherd's, it's a group of items called Shepherd's Fold by Shepherd's Bush. They all fit in a box. And this is the ruler holder. It's upside down now because I finished the bottom, this half, so I turned it over so I could stitch the top half up here. You can see my long crazy piece of fabric. This is the box. No, this is not the box top. This is the pin cushion pillow. Pin pillow. The box top's over here, stuck over here. There it is. It says a full heart. And then there's a whole bunch of little smalls that go inside the box. I don't have anything else finished. I'm just working on this ruler holder as the first one, and then I have maybe 4 more little smalls to finish this project. They all came as little kits with pre-cut little pieces of fabric, so I sewed all the pieces of fabric together so that I could put it on Q-snaps. Then I made myself a little map so I would remember which piece of fabric was for which part. So there's that. A Savior's Praise. No, not A Savior's Praise. There are a lot of people working on A Savior's Praise, and it's gorgeous, and I have bought the pattern. But this is Morning Has Broken. And I work on this on Sundays when I have time. There's a lot of Sundays I don't have time. I usually only have maybe an hour or 2 in the evening if I do have time, but sometimes I don't have that. So it's not progressed very far since last time you saw it, but a little bit. I'm filling in I finished outlining. I've come to a stopping point for outlining for this section. And then I will fill in, right now I'm filling in all the leaves. There are 3 colors of green silk. This is it's a class piece by Theron, so it's not available to buy unless you take the class from her. Mostly silks. And I think it's 32 count maritime white. I can't remember. This is a sampler. I'm doing a stitch along with my friend Linda. It is Band of Roses 1845 in the Head Mistress Sampler series by Cross Stitch Antiques. And Linda and I are doing a stitch along with this. Or if anyone else would like to join us, please let me know. Please join us. Or don't let me know. Just stitch it along and don't tell me. I don't care. I'd love to know if you were stitching on it. I'd love to see progress pictures. This is how far I am. I did get the bee done and a little more of that top. This is the only border on it. It just runs clear across the top there. You can see it up there. Otherwise, it does not have a border. Thank goodness. Because those are not as you know, those are not my favorite things. It is the Called For DMC on, I know this, 40 count Maritime White, 1/1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. Except for the dark blue, I did switch the dark blue out for an Avera Soie Silk 1416. It's about the same color as the DMC 823 that it called for, because the DMC is thinner than silk and it wasn't covering as well as I would have liked. So I switched, since the whole top third is that dark blue color, you know, like clear down to here. I wanted the better coverage, so I switched just that part to the silk. Silk is a little fatter of a thread, so it covers just a little bit better. And it calls for a lot of colors, which is one of the reasons I stuck with the DMC on this, because there are quite a few. It's going to be gorgeous. The Saturday project, Victorian Charm, I'll be working on that later today as soon as I get done with all my, I think after grocery shopping I'm done with my chores for the day and I can sit down and stitch. This is where it is. I finished this whole section over here on the side. I'm working on the greenery over here, which is a narrow piece so it won't take as long. Then I'll do all of the back stitching. I ended back stitching about right here, so I need to do all the back stitching in this section, and then I'll move down to the next floor. But, oh, I'm enjoying this piece. It's such a pretty pattern. It's a Dimensions kit, and it's called Victorian Charm. There's a little kitty up here in the window, and there's another little kitty down here on the sidewalk. I love that. I know I've told you that before, but in my head, the one little kitty is coming to visit the other little kitty, and the owners aren't home. They're out for the evening or something. I don't know. Or maybe they're home, and when the other little kitty comes to visit, he scratches on the door and they let him in. I don't know. And that is the kit threads on the kit fabric. It's like a dark blue Aida, 18 count Aida, I want to say. My Tuesday project is the stocking I'm making for my daughter-in-law, Lauren. It's the heirloom stocking series, originally in the Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine. And she chose the music room, so that's the one I'm doing for her. And I neglected to bring the picture of it downstairs. Sorry, my stitching spot is upstairs. So all you get to see is what I have done. This is the top left corner of the stocking, right underneath the name. It is a round window that looks outside. It has a violin and a trumpet up here in the wreath, and a flute, and I'm not sure if that's a clarinet or an oboe yet. In the bottom part of the wreath, plus some greenery, plus some red ribbons. There must be 45 colors in just this section that I've done so far. Lots of color changes, but it makes it so pretty. As soon as I finish the wallpaper, just around anything touching this window and this wreath and all of this, then I'm going to do all the back stitching for this section. I like to do the back stitching as I go. I love how back stitching makes everything show up. Like brings it into focus and gives it all the detail that it needs, but it's not really my favorite thing to do. I'd rather be just making X's. So I like to do it as I go so that it's not all left at the end. And I also like to finish sections as I go so that when you get it out to work on it, there's something fun to look at that you know that section is finished. And it looks really good. And you pull it out and go, wow, that looks really good. I should work on that. I like that. That is on the called for 28 count Mushroom Lugana Even Weave and the called for DMC floss. So that is 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. As you know, my Mania projects, 11 of my Mania projects had monthly assignments. They were seasonal and were assigned to a different season to work on them, because I like to work on seasonal things in the season. And this is, so this was a Mania project that's assigned to August. It is called, and I left the picture of it upstairs, it is Summertime by Stitchery. And this is where I am so far. Oh, I forgot to tell you, on the stocking, in the last video, or the video before that, I think actually, I undid the clip and held it up and said, so the stocking's going to go down this way. It was totally upside down. Yes. As soon as I was watching the film after I filmed it, I was just like, oh, it's upside down. So yes, it is on the fabric correctly. I just needed to undo the other clip and turn it the other way and show you the weird. In fact, probably make you and me feel better if I show you what I should have showed you before. I was explaining how I made 2 stockings this year, one for my daughter-in-law Hannah and this one for my daughter-in-law Lauren. And I knew I was going to do 2 stockings, so I bought a piece of fabric big enough to put one this way and one this way next to it. But after I finished the Hannah stocking, I didn't want to leave it on there because folding it up under the Q-snaps and everything, it would be better just to cut it off and put it, you know, somewhere safe until I make it into a stocking. We'll just get less wear and tear on it. So I cut that stocking off, but that leaves a really odd shaped piece of fabric to stitch the other stocking on. So I was showing you what I did, that I sewed a piece of fabric to it. So you can see it's upside down. See that? So that you can see the dark brown shape where I cut off Hannah's stocking. And then the piece that's left, if you turn it upside down, will fit Lauren's stocking. It will come down and the toe will come this way. So yes, now it's right side up. And that way I could still put it in a Q-snap even though it's a really weird shape of fabric. Make sense? That's okay. Makes sense to me. That's all that matters, right? Okay. Back to Summertime by Stitchery. I am loving this piece. I love the colors. I love working on it in August because it's got all the things that you do in August or July, either one. This was a wonderful little needle minder I got at StitchCon. And this is one I bought at the little tourist shop at Bear Lake. It's a little girl reading a book at the beach. It was like a fridge magnet, and I glued another magnet on the back, so a stronger magnet, so it could be one of these. This is the middle section, this part that says Summertime, and then there's about this much of these little boxes down here that say different things. By Stitchery on 32 count white even weave. The called for DMC, 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. And the last time I showed it to you, you may notice, if you're really paying attention, that this really dark orangey red color and this dark orangey red color here, on here and here and here, I had wasn't paying attention to the symbols and had used the wrong color. A really light melony orange color, like melon, like a really light cantaloupe color. And kept thinking, that looks kind of weird to me. It wasn't until I was like clear across here that it finally dawned on me that was the wrong color. So I had to go back in here, rip this dark red orange out. There's just a couple of highlights in here to highlight the letters, and then all the top part of these letters and put it all back in. So it's looking a lot better now. I like it a lot better. I love the pattern. It is a very cute, gorgeous pattern. Stitchery, I got it from their Etsy shop. I did a PDF download using the called for DMC. And hopefully that will be done by the end of August. Because that one's a size that I think it could be finished. I think it's about 100. I think it's around 120 by 120, which I can usually finish in a month on my, if it's my Monday, Wednesday, Friday focus piece. If you want the whole rundown on the whole rotation schedule. That is 2 or 3 videos ago, and the picture of it is me holding up a big poster that has things written on it. That's where I explain my rotation. Seize the Day has not changed since I showed it to you because the new section won't come out until the 25th. I did not work on Wild Salt Air by Hands on Design either. That's the one I'm doing with the sulky floss thread. I think we're still going to Bear Lake a week from yesterday, next weekend. And if we do, I'm going to take it with me and hopefully finish it. It's not a very big piece, and it's not very far from being finished. But I haven't worked on it, so it looks same as last time you saw it. I love it. I pull out all these bags and I'm like, wonder what's in here. I don't remember what's in here. Oh. This is the Healing Garden piece, but I do not think it has changed since the last time I showed it to you. It's based on a temperature garden pattern that I purchased from Stitchin Mommy. She has an Etsy store. She's a designer. She also has a Flosstube channel. And then I adapted it. I changed the pattern a little bit so that I could always, all my flowers had 7 petals, so I could always tell where the Monday was. And I use it to track headaches for my neurologist because it is a good motivator to keep track. But it hasn't changed since last time I showed it to you. Words to Live by Tiny Modernist. Today is the 17th, so this pattern probably is in my email, and I probably got it on the 14th. It comes out on the 15th, but I usually get it somewhere late in the day on the 14th. And I haven't even looked at it. I don't even know what the new pattern for this month looks like. So I'll print that out today and start working on that. But since I pulled it out of the bag, this is what it looks like. I'm guessing this month's piece is going to go right here, or it might go down here. I don't know. This was the one I got on July 15th. So that will be fun. If I had thought about that before I filmed, I would have gone to open it up and print it out so I could show you what it's going to say, but I didn't. So that'll be a surprise. Or you can go to Google and Google it and find out what this month's one is. It's Words to Live by Tiny Modernist. It's on 32 count black even weave. No, I think it's linen. It's 32 count black linen with the called for DMC, 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. Oh, did I kick the camera? Sorry. All right, Twisted Band Sampler is my challenge piece and has been for months. So I try and work on it the first 30 to 60 minutes every time I sit down to stitch, because it is a little tedious for me. It's a lot like having rows and rows and rows of borders, but it is a gorgeous piece. And it is close. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel now, so that's good. This was a Mania piece. I do 5 whips. Last year was 2018 was the first time I did Mania. 2019 was the second time I did Mania. So in 2018 I had, of my 18 pieces for Mania, 5 of them were whips. And then in 2019 I did the same thing. Only if any of my 5 whips from 2018 weren't done yet, then they were part of the 5 whips for 2019. As well as any of my new starts from 2018, I carried over to 2019 if they weren't done yet. There were only a few that weren't done. But this is one of the ones I've been trying to finish for a couple of years. We're down to the blue. You can see the light blue, medium blue. This cross stitch section here is the light blue and the medium blue, And then I have just barely started this specialty band, which will be the medium blue and the dark blue. And the specialty band is it's like an oblong smear and a cross. And then there will be, sorry, let's hold it still for a minute so you can actually see, maybe. This specialty band has this row, and then it has a row of queen stitches, and then it has a row of upright cross, I think it's called, in medium blue. And then in dark blue, it will have another row of upright cross, another row of queen stitch, and another row of, what did I just tell you that was? I'm losing my mind today. Whatever I said this row is, then it will end with the dark blue of that, medium blue. And then there will be a cross stitch row that has the dark blue, and I believe we're going into purple next. So it'll be a light lavender or purple maybe. But we're close because the rows are getting shorter and shorter as we're on our way to the corner. So that's been fun. Love this piece. It is gorgeous. Twisted Band Sampler by Northern Expressions. It is on, oh, the tag is right here. How awesome. 32 count Lakeside Linen Bisque. It's an off-white color. With the called for Avera Soie silks, 1 strand of silk over 2 fabric threads. I think that's all the whips. I feel like we're missing something, but there's nothing left upstairs. I brought everything down in the basket, which is now empty as I pulled everything out one by one. See if you can see it in there. So I know there's nothing left upstairs. And I went through everything sitting on the floor, so that must be everything. All right. I didn't purchase anything this month. I've been way too busy to be shopping. But I did get 2 things in the mail. My wonderful friend, Linda, in Pennsylvania, sent me a scissor fob. And I like to change. I have my favorite pair of scissors, my Dovo silver scissors that I use all the time. Should have brought my scissors down this. Oh, I didn't bring them down. But I like to change the fob on it every month because I have lots of scissor fobs. And I love scissor fobs, one of my weaknesses. I don't know. This month has pastel colored little crystals on it, and then it has a pair of flip-flops at the bottom. I thought that was a good August one. But Linda sent me this. And it has the little door that I love, the little door charm that opens. I should put a little picture in there. I have a needle minder that looks very similar to this. And I think this is going to be the September fob as soon as we turn to September. Thank you, Linda. That was so nice of you. She said she was thinking of my wee village and thought that that looked just like me. Thank you. And my other friend Linda, who lives in California, that's doing the stitch along with me, sent me this darling towel that has the birdhouses on it. She said she saw those birdhouses and thought of my wee village, and it's patriotic for summer, for July. How cute is that? And it's my favorite kind of dish towel, Linda. It's when I dry dishes, I want this kind of a towel, the flour sack kind of a towel. That's what I dry dishes with. Or you have all these wet dishes that you need to lay out on a counter, but they're going to be wet and they just need to dry for a little while. You just put one of these towels out and you lay everything down on it. Or if you're making pigs in the blanket and you filled a whole cookie sheet full of pigs in the blanket and they need to raise for a little while, then you put one of these towels over the top of it, over in the corner of the kitchen while it raises. Of course, I wouldn't use this one if I was putting it on pigs in the blanket. Maybe this one. And I always have one hanging on I usually have the more thicker terry cloth that you think of as a kitchen towel. I have one of those hanging on my oven door, and then I always have one of these hanging on my oven door. So you can have both kinds, because one's good for after you've washed your hands, drying your hands, and one's good for drying dishes. So thank you, Linda. That was so sweet of you. Both Lindas. Thank you. Okay, I think the last thing left is an old finish. And since it's still kind of summer and it was just barely July, I thought I'd show you From Sea to Shining Sea. This is by Little House Needleworks. I finished it several years ago. Thoroughly enjoyed working on this. It was so fun. It is a series, all of those, each house is a different chart to purchase, and then there's another chart that's the border that says From Sea to Shining Sea and has the top border and the bottom border on it. I do not remember if I had to buy the border separately or if it came with one of the charts. It's printed just like all the other charts, so I suspect you have to buy it separate, but I can't remember. The charts look like this. One was called the West Coast. One was called the East Coast. Those are the two end houses, I believe. One was the mountains. One was the Southwest. One was the border chart. And one was the Midwest. So those were the names of the 6 charts, and they're by Little House Needleworks. This is the border chart. And the border chart doesn't, like in the picture it shows you that it has all the houses on it. They're not on there. All it has on it is the border. But that was fun. I enjoyed that. I need to get that framed and hang it up, or else make it into a pillow. It's long and narrow, so it would work as a pillow that I could put out this time of year on my couch or my chair. It is on, let's see, it calls for 32 count linen. They did theirs on a, it calls for raw, which would be a kind of a light tan color. But I chose to do mine on blue, and since Mount Baker blue is my favorite color, I'm guessing this is Mount Baker blue, and it probably is 32 count, because I usually, you know what, it might be 40 count. Let's look it up, shall we? I have this journal. You're all telling me the name of this artist. I can't, oh, for the life of me, I'm so tired this morning. I can't think of her name. Walk towards the sunshine and the shadows will fall behind you. And I write down, I try and really hard when I start a piece to write it down in here. The name of the designer, if I changed any of the threads, what the fabric was, what count, am I doing it over 2 threads, over 1, and the date that I started it. And then I go back and in red, I write down when I finish it. I'd write the date that I finished it. And if there was anything weird about it, not weird, but interesting while I was working on it, like I had to restart it because I hated the fabric, or I had this with me when I was at the hospital visiting my son who just had surgery. So I sometimes like to write down things that happened. Or my grandson spilled this stuff on it and then I had to wash, but I got the stain out. You know, I just think that's fun trivia to have in there. But of course it's chronological, not in alphabetical order. Let's see if we can find Sea to Shining Sea. Oh, there it is. I started it in January of 2013. It is on Mount, oh, apparently I didn't write it down when I started it. I wrote it down later. And I'm guessing it's Mount Baker Blue. I finished it that same year in June 2013 because it was the OOE, that chapboard that I belong to, incentive piece for the year. Darn, I was hoping that would tell me. I think it's still 2 strands of floss. So this is either 32 count or 36 count. It's tiny enough, I'm wondering if it's 36 count. If it was 40 count, I would have only used 1 strand of floss, which I do love to do that. I do that a lot. Sorry, couldn't be more helpful. I'm not going to do what I wish I was working on because August has been so crazy. What I really wish I was working on is one of those whips. I would love to have some more energy and time to stitch, but I think I will now that things will calm down a little bit. I hope. I hope you're all having a fabulous Saturday and that you get to spend some time stitching or something else that brings you joy and peace. And we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.